Crypto serious, and those who might be a little bit in between. You might be curious. I don't know.
You might be buy curious. You were curious if you want to buy crypto.
Wi-Fi now disabled.
You might be try curious. You might have tried to buy crypto. That would make you try
trying to figure it out.
Where do we go from there? Quad curious?
I don't know.
Because you got.
Well, you know what? Curiosity is something that is important, and a lot of people lose it along the way. Education seems to beat the love of learning out of a lot of people. But apparently, Joel says that David was very curious about the cryptos during this interview. I was, I believe, on an airplane at the time, and I think I was in the jungle, maybe doing jungle medicine.
Yeah, so this interview today, I'm joined by my son, Zach, who some of you know from our Blockchain Heroes products. He's actually the mastermind behind all of the characters that we develop in the Blockchain Heroes series. And we're going to revisit that conversation here after the interview. First of all, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, and you should listen up, because if you want to invest like the big institutions, these guys have access to the strategies and projects and the products that regular folks don't have. But Matrixport has leveled the playing field for retail and institutional investors. They get access to investing products, dual currency products. These have only been accessible to hedge funds and other large investors. Get the Matrixport app. Check out their high yield products today. Here's where you go: badco.in/Matrixport. Get in the matrix, get in the port. badco.in/Matrixport.
Isn't the Matrixport, isn't that the thing that Keanu had in the back of his head?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, I know Kung Fu.
Right.
Is that the Matrixport?
I know how to cook ramen.
Wow. I have an Instapot.
So, as we were saying, this interview, Trav, was unavailable. The video version of this is now on our YouTube channel at badco.in/YouTube. So if you want to watch the interview, because, you know, you're used to seeing the face of David. He was Champ Kind on the Anchorman series, you know, the one with the cowboy hat.
Yeah. Oh, he was in Talladega Nights.
That is correct.
Which was really good. Which is a really good show.
The Legend of Ricky Bobby.
That was solid. He's also in. He makes a regular appearance on the Goldbergs. I don't know if you've seen that. He's Dick Reynolds on American Dad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he will smash your face into a windshield and take your mother, Dorothy Mantooth, out for a delicious seafood dinner, and then never call her again. And
that's a line we're going to reference here in this interview. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this. And yes, crypto and NFTs are tied into it all. So here we go. You might recognize him as Champ Kind. You might recognize him as Todd Packer. Or you might recognize him from any number of movies. You might recognize the voice, because he's also a voice actor on multiple cartoons. He's a bit of a cartoon character himself, and he's involved in a new NFT drop that is related to a new film that looks hilarious called Reboot Camp. He is the one, the only, David Keckner. Good sir, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Okay, now I thought for sure you were going to welcome us with, what's up, my nerds?
Is that what you want? Great to be here on Bad.
Yeah, we're naughty. I mean, there might be an occasional fart joke or two, and we're really just to talk about.
It's very new. I don't own any. It's a fascinating world. The thing I'll just tell you what I'm apprehensive about. So the only way to recognize the blockchain is to create the blockchain. I'm worried about the necessary to true, or is that just false information?
Well, I mean,
the way that it can be, what is it, certified? Is it there's a blockchain of computers that boot up, use a lot of energy to then recognize that this thing does exist?
So it is true that it takes energy and computing processing power, which costs electric energy to do it, but there are blockchains that are very friendly towards the environment, and there are blockchains that are less friendly towards the environment. But
so is this show about exposing those that are not friendly to the environment?
Oh, we talk about all the things
Okay.
here. We're very blockchain agnostic, but of course, you know that the media tends to sensationalize stories and blow things out of proportion, and so it's always more interesting to say blockchain's going to kill us all. We're all going to die. The environment's over because computers are running. But the truth is, just as much energy to print fiat currency, to print bills at the Federal Reserve, as it does to mine cryptocurrency.
Well, and you talk about mining the coins as well. That takes much more energy. Mining all that stuff, and I'm guessing, just like anything else, it'll become a streamlined process where you won't need as much. There'll be another recognized form, different chips or something that more quickly recognize the blockchain.
Yeah, and they're making the miners smaller. They're learning to shrink people really small and put them inside the computer with a little pickaxe and ding, ding, ding.
Like Owen Wilson and what is it, National something Museum, Night at the Museum.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they shrunk him down really small.
Yes. So why do they call it? Now you've covered this in your show. Why do they call it mining?
Zach, I'll let you educate on that.
Mining it's an umbrella term for whatever the process is that takes currency from a large pile that hasn't been claimed. And so in some cases that looks like computers being dedicated towards solving really complicated math problems before any other computer can do it. And in some cases, it's just a matter of passive generation. It kind of differs from blockchain to blockchain. A lot of this is super Wild West stuff.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's sort of this concern out there in the ether now about how cryptocurrency affects the climate means that there's a natural pressure on new technology in the blockchain space that's dedicated towards maintaining a low carbon footprint, or what we call carbon neutrality.
Right, and I'm sure it'll get lower and lower, like we were just saying. So I guess the other thing that would concern me is, can anyone just begin cryptocoin?
Yeah, so I think...
Go ahead.
Yeah, cryptocurrency is it's a decentralized type of currency, which means that it opens it up for anybody to participate, right? Rather than a centralized government saying, okay, here's your money and this is how it's going to be issued and how you can use it. It's a freedom and a liberty type initiative. Third world nations, now that they have access to cryptocurrency and mining, they're starting to prosper in ways that they wouldn't have dreamed of before. So it's bringing more equality around the world to some of these nations that have really suffered for many years. But you're going to keep hearing, you and I are very close in the same age. I've been into tech forever, so I've been following this closer than you. You've been, on stage making people laugh.
Right.
So it's a different arena, but I can tell you, having followed the technical trends for my whole life, this is where we're going, and your grandkids, it's going to be second nature to them that they're going to be buying, selling, trading in crypto.
Are you in Los Angeles?
No, I'm actually in Puerto Rico.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Zach?
I am in Denver.
Okay. Joel or Zach, we'll have to, on a separate call, we'll go over, and I want you guys to give me the full university lecture on crypto, because I know your audience knows all about it. So it'll be very boring for them to have to listen to it again. But I sincerely would like to sit with you and go through all my questions and get the education and then dispel all the rumors. The thing about it is that I do believe, money is not real. People have to keep that in mind.
Right.
Our money is the same thing as crypto in that it's an idea.
Correct.
So me giving you $1 is you and I both believe this dollar has whatever value we put on it.
Correct.
And that dollar might have a higher value depending on whatever it is. It's a new movie from Disney that has a higher value than a 10-year-old movie from Disney. right?
Well, here's the difference for you, David, is that the fiat currencies of the world, we used to be backed by the gold standard, which
Yes,
globally,
1977, Bretton Woods.
boom, look at you, dropping the knowledge.
Might have
Nixon.
been 73. Was it 77?
It was Nixon, so it was 73.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, because he got the axe in 74. And you remember watching that when we were growing up, seeing that?
I was 11.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have been 9 then. Yeah, because
Do you remember sitting there on that hot August night? I think it was the 8th, August 8 or August 11 when he resigned. And I remember I watched for a while, thinking I've got to watch this. And then I walked out the front door just because I thought it's a nice night. I'm going to go outside. And
do you do impersonations?
Well, everyone does a Nixon. Is that
Yeah.
what we?
Yeah, let me hear your "I'm not a crook"
I am not a crook.
with the 2 fingers in the air and the peace sign. Yeah, that was a great rabbit trail. I can't remember where we were.
I can pick up where you left
Thank
off.
you,
'Cause
Zach.
We're talking about how fiat currency isn't actually backed by anything anymore, so it's basically totally imaginary. The difference between that
When you
and
say
crypto,
fiat currency, that means all currencies.
it means state-backed currency. It means cash or euros or Canadian dollars or whatnot.
Right.
Cryptocurrency is backed by the value of whatever generated it. In the case of Bitcoin, where computers are solving complex mathematical problems, that's effectively attaching a value to the computational labor that is being done in order to mine new Bitcoin.
Okay.
So it's backed by something that's actually substantial.
Got you.
Yeah, it's a great rabbit hole, and the deeper you go down it, the wider it gets. And once you understand how it works, it's like, oh, okay, this is revolutionary. This is truly world-changing technology, and I feel blessed. We're here to witness it, happening. When we were kids, the coolest technology we had was the Magnavox TV remote that went ka-chunk, ka-chunk, the big buttons. Now you just, hey Siri, do whatever. I just set off somebody's phone. So what about NFTs? Because we're going to talk about this film, and Mogul Productions is going to be offering special NFTs related to this. What do you understand about it?
One of the leaders in the NFT.
Yeah.
And of course, the thing is, I'm very new to this. You probably already know about NFTs yourselves.
Yes, very much so. We've actually, myself and my partner Travis Wright, who's usually my co-host, have minted over 1 million NFTs. In distribution, yeah. So we're not just podcast hosts, we're marketers, we're creators. We've been at this for a long time. What's your understanding of what a non-fungible token is? And
neo-fungible token. It's only the digital frame of content, basically, right?
That's a really interesting way to put it. Another way to think about it is programmable media, right? It is. I'm sure you're a nerd like us. You've probably collected stuff, right? And I'm not as deeply into the ephemera as a lot of people. I do these Comic-Cons now too, so you can't even say you're in the class. I'm not even a freshman. But you've collected.
I want that, please, mate. Diesel.
It might be signed, and they come with these
clowns for me.
It's what?
Clowns.
So you like scary things that want to murder you in your sleep?
No, I just love. See, to me, clowns are joy bringers. So for me, I have all these clowns. You should
show us. Do you have something you can show us?
Well, I do, but I'm on a tabletop computer here, so I can't take you around. But I've got 2 beautiful Commedia dell'arte statues in my living room that puzzle the hell out of my children. I've probably got 8 different clown photos and/or clown ephemera. So yeah, that's my. I've got one right here. Let me get rid of this guy.
Behind the scenes. Well, you can tell a lot about people by the books they have. Let's see what we got there. The Joy of Sex.
There's the clown.
Yeah.
That was for the comedy fans. That's the Upright Citizens Brigade. Books. We can go to. Oh, here you go. The Italian comedy. Now this is about Commedia dell'arte, where many of our clowns came from. or many of our standard characters that we see in sitcoms at all times. So this is the type of stuff that that interests me. Anyway, enough about that. Oh, here's another book on Canada right beside that one.
Look at that. Now,
I was not. I was not anticipating a clown history lesson on this interview. Learn something new every day.
You do for me, I do for you. I'll see if I can get some pictures. So there's basically 7 stock characters from the Italian comedy that still inform comedy today. And so that's been in use for 500 years, but they always work. So if you look at the characters of The Office, for instance, which is a wildly popular show, and Zach, I will continue to insist on calling you Zach, or Zach, that they're standard and understandable and constant. There's the buffoon of the boss, right? There's the intellectual who's a buffoon. There's the love interest. There's the low-lying harlequino. There is the lovers. So there's all the spectrum of the clown, about 7 of them. And you'll see them in our sitcoms today still, because we all identify with these different, spectrums of personality and character.
So they're like these theatrical archetypes that have persisted through human media for centuries.
You were able to distill it in one sentence. I'd still be talking in the next paragraph. I like you, Zach. Can you speak on my behalf at all times?
He's so smart. I don't know how he came from my genes. I mean, his mom's smart too, but he's smarter than both of us. Don't let it go to your head. There.
Joel, it's Hitler's generation.
So, Zach, that means your kids are going to be dumb like me. Oh. So let me loop back to NFTs for a moment, because
NFTs,
basically
non-fungible.
A non-fungible token means it's unique in and of itself. If I hand you a dollar bill, you could say, "Hey, Joel, give me $1," and I won't say to you which one. I'll just pull $1 out of my wallet because they're all treated the same. But an NFT, each one is unique, and just like your autographed piece of art, many times comes with the certificate of authenticity that says this is number 400 out of 500, right? And that certificate is now on blockchain, and it provides true ownership because it's in your wallet to say this is mine. And now, because I own it, it's in my wallet, I can use it as proof, I can use it as collateral, I can sell it, I can trade it, I can hold it, and I have the proof. There's never any dispute about who owns that thing. And so now with new media, especially with Hollywood getting into the act here, these NFTs give people an opportunity to own something super unique that they can't get anywhere else. And in the case of the film that we're going to talk about here, there's the outtakes. There's 11 deleted scenes that are going to be available up for auction on mogulproductions.com. But let's talk about the film. It's called Reboot Camp. Both of us watched the trailer beforehand. I'm loving it. It reminds me of the mockumentaries that Harry Shearer, and Christopher Guest did, Best of Show. This is Spinal Tap, in that type of tradition. Was that just the trailer giving that angle, or is the whole film like that?
No, the film was like that. But they're investigating cults, but it takes a different direction, a different tactic in terms of, so Spinal Tap was following a band that really believed in themselves and their journey. This one is investigating and ultimately wants to expose what cults are by creating a fake cult with the intention then of letting the people know that you've been duped by the end. But then there's a twist, of course, 3/4 of the way into the film that I'm not going to reveal now. But so it plays on all of those things. Even best intentions gets hijacked. Money is the root of all evil. You are enough. Basically, the message is just like you would give anyone any message. A cult's message would be, I can unlock your brain. But the real truth of the film that's trying to get to is you're enough. You don't need to go looking outside of you. for answers. You need to look inside of you for answers. Now, it is a comedy, so it's not pounding you over the head with that type of idea, but certainly those ideas are there. Like, we don't have to go and give our entire lives over to somebody else or any other thing to look for answers. I personally believe we're born with all the answers that we need for our lives. Now, I'm not born with the answers of how to become an astronaut. That's not what I need for my life. So I'm talking about the answers I need to live a purposeful life and a life free of anxiety, let's say. So if I'm having an anxious moment, it's not real because I created it. Anxiety doesn't exist unless we manufacture it or mine it from our tiny computers where we waste way too much energy, burn way too much energy on anxiety or many other things that they don't have to exist. We have to create that. Anyway, those are themes that are played with during the film, but it's very funny. David Lipper is our lead, and he does a fantastic job, and it's got some celebrity cameos in it. One of mine being among them. Ed Begley Jr., who's one of my favorite actors, is in the film. We didn't get to have any scenes together, but we were still in it. Ed and I have been in at least 3 productions together. He's one of my favorites, so that's enough to bring me to the film. But it's got a very eclectic cast. So if you just check out the entire cast, you go, wow, Chaz Bono, Nicole Aniston, not Jennifer, Nicole.
Different acting style.
Different style. Some say more interesting. Certainly more memorable. So yeah, great Ja Rule, great eclectic cast. The message, they don't hit over the head, but it's fun and funny.
I really enjoyed in the trailer how it seems to sort of be a coagulation of aping all of these different woke and wellness trends together. It's like, here are all the things that you need to do to live this sort of Silicon Valley lifestyle, but they're brought into this slightly creepy uniform group context, all simultaneously.
Angry yoga. That's what I saw. Remember
Angry
from the
yoga.
trailer.
Yes, I participate in some angry yoga.
So the film releases when? I don't have a release.
Oh, it's already been released.
Oh, it's out. Okay.
But it's available. I don't know if I have the platforms in front of me where it's still available. Shame on me. If you go look for it, I'm sure you can find it. But it debuted, I believe, in May.
Okay, we'll link it up in the show notes for the episode, and I'm going to go track it down myself so I can have an evening of laughter and go, there he is, that's David.
Yeah, I'll text David now.
I know that dude. So
and on top of that, it got quite a good rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
What was it?
It's got an audience approval score of 88%.
Nice.
that is really good, because there's a lot of churn and burn comedies, right? That they pump out a lower budget, or they throw a big star in there and they say yes to it because they want to get paid because everybody's been on lockdown, and then it ends up being crap. And so it's good that you were able to get in on a project that people are enjoying. So
yeah, it won like audience awards at a bunch of festivals, more than one. So they did the festival circuit, and then it was finally up on a streaming platform, because, none of us have been to a movie theater in, God bless us, a year and a half or more.
What's a movie, what did you call it? A who?
Theater?
Theater.
Zach will tell you later. No, it's a shame. It's a shame. We just need to get through this.
So there's 11 NFTs in all, David, and they're going to be auctioned at mogulproductions.com. You guys want to sign up. One of them is a signed poster. There's 25 editions that'll be available for $150 only. So that one's going to go super fast. It's also super rare. And you probably don't know this, David, but people will purchase with a cryptocurrency called Ethereum. Have you heard of that one?
I have.
Yeah. So Ethereum is the one that's criticized for being less environmentally friendly, and rightfully so. But there are others out there that are cleaner than, you flipping on your light switch to go in and out of the house. So don't believe the hype. disbelieve part of it.
You know, and if we're really concerned about it, have you ever been to New Zealand?
I have not. Australia is the closest I've gotten.
Okay, they may do this in Australia too. They have a switch when you leave your house which shuts off all the power. Except you can leave all your essentials on. Like we all leave the house and leave everything on. Whether it's a computer running, a light here, there, they have a switch, you leave the house, everything shuts off. Now, obviously, you can leave the stuff that your refrigerator is going to be left on, your air conditioner, stuff like that. But look how much energy we just have on all the time. Much more than cryptocurrency uses. Every plug-in in the places that I stayed in New Zealand, every single plug-in had a switch where you'd shut it off. I mean, I'm sure Zach could tell us about the loss of passive energy in the United States.
So what I can really tell you about is that investigating nuclear will blow your mind.
What do you mean, nuclear energy?
I mean, nuclear energy. It is a totally untapped potential that everyone is sort of afraid of for irrational reasons. But the amount of power required to power everything you will ever use in your life is just so incredibly tiny if it's nuclear fission that generates that energy. And we have a few nuclear plants in the United States, but largely there's just sort of been this public shadow hanging over the entire concept.
And let's talk about what?
Nuclear energy is unquestionably the energy direction that we need to do all of that world-saving stuff.
100%. But the biggest concern about nuclear energy is
Waste disposal?
yes.
Of course. And there's a lot of people working on that, especially in terms of calculating exactly how dense. We're getting super off topic here.
I know, but we're gonna come back to Ethereum.
It's interesting. Well, my biggest concern about nuclear energy is grown adults that can't pronounce the word right and say nuclear.
Yes.
I mean, come on, it's nuclear. Even presidents
Bush never got it right.
never got it right. Always nuclear.
Now, Zach, what about